Welcome to this podcast. We still don't have a name for it. And hey, Blake, how are you?
I'm doing good.
With us today, we got our cousins here. Why don't you, Jeremy? Let's start with you. What's your life story, bud?
I've lived around, and I'm in Utah presently.
Wow.
Yeah, can you believe that?
You've lived around, like, how many places you've lived?
I didn't know Utah was livable.
I didn't either.
Not this summer. It's so hot out there. Oh, topical humor.
Yeah, with no tropical humor.
Yeah, it feels tropical.
When was the last time we had clouds around here?
Okay, we're done with the weather.
I just started. But anyway, yeah, Utah. Lived in Chicago. Love it.
You've been around the block of the United States.
A little bit.
Half
the
bless
block.
America.
How about that? Half the block.
And Zach, what's your story?
Hello, my name is Zach.
And he has a story.
I have a story.
He's going to tell.
He's
Hello,
going to
Zach.
tell. He's going to tell. He's going to tell. He's going to. Okay.
He's going to tell.
He's going to hell. He's going to tell.
What's up, Zach?
I do movies.
Yeah.
You do what with movies?
I
Yeah.
do movies.
Yeah. That's something we should mention. We've got.
Well, we haven't even talked about what we're doing today.
I know. I'm just gonna say this real quick. So Wes here, he does music. Zach over here, he does movies. Jeremy is a writer, and I'm an idiot. So
We've got all the makings for a great movie.
We have everything we need.
I'm an idiot. It's all good. Yeah, so this is great. All right, sorry. Keep going, Wes. Or Zach.
So, as part of our unnamed podcast, we wanted to do some movie reviews because we're about that movie life. We've got Zach here who has experience working in movies. Zach, why don't you tell us about that a little bit?
Okay. So, I worked on a lot of shorts, like indie shorts. I've done pretty much like everything on set, from doing lighting, a little bit of camera work, running the set, producing, screenwriting. Yeah. So I've done a lot and have some experience. And I know a lot of people in the industry as well. Both the indie and, well, a couple in like Hollywood and stuff, but yeah, right now I do mostly like screenwriting, and I look at like scripts and story ideas and like judge them. 'Cause I get all judgy and stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say, Mr. Judge. Okay, I'm done.
Cool. And Jeremy, I hear you are an avid film lover.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about that in your experience of loving film in all its glorious formats?
Well, I took screenwriting, so I've studied in that.
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, I did that a few times, and so I've had a little bit of background in that and learned some vital things about how to write my own stories that even weren't screenwritings that really helped. So, and studied some of the art about it, and in early college years too, and watch them. I watch movies. Can you believe it? I watch movies.
I can't.
Well, what kind of movies are your favorite? Is horror your favorite?
No, it's
Okay.
actually not sci-fi, fantasy, comedy. I would say. So, I mean, Dark Knight. Those are my favorites.
Yeah,
really.
Dark Knight is pretty funny.
Everything you just mentioned seems like horror to me, but that's okay. I guess I don't understand.
All right. So we wanted to start off our movie segment off right with probably one of the best movies ever made. It's ranked as the highest possible quality movie ever.
Is it?
the 1985 smash hit The Stuff. Just kidding. It's an awfully made movie.
I liked it. I thought it's one of my favorites, actually. It's in my top 10.
The director, let me look it up, Larry Cohen, he's also the writer. He had a small cult following for some of his movies, and The Stuff turned into like a very small cult following.
He's not with the Coen brothers, is he?
I want to see what else he did. What else did... Oh, he did It's Alive.
Cellular. I remember Cellular.
Oh, that wasn't that bad.
No, I mean, it was pretty cheesy, but...
Yeah. For its time, The Ambulance. Watch out. The ambulance is coming to get you.
So, he's got 85 credits on IMDb. Probably mostly writing credits. Screenplay, story, written by. And that's kind of his thing. He made a couple cult movies, very small following, and this was one of them in its prime. Not many people liked it. We need to talk about practical effects, which is why we were so attracted to this movie in the first place. So practical effects, unlike special effects or computer graphics, they use like materials like gelatin and whatever they can find to make a convincing model, usually for gore purposes. If you're thinking of like the Alien movies where the alien pops out of the guy's chest, it's a puppet, right? But that's a practical effect. Or The Thing is famous if you think of the Stranger Things episode where he's talking to his girlfriend about the effects in The Thing, where he's like, yeah, they melted plastic and used chewed bubble gum and stuff to make the effect of the guy's head falling on the floor and all that stuff. So that's what practical effects are. And we're super interested in it because, surprisingly, it's much cheaper than CGI. And I'd say it's just about as convincing being an adult, because when you watch a movie with computer graphics, you can still tell there's computer graphics in this day and age. And you can tell there's practical effects in any other movie. So, I don't know. To me, that hands-on effect is a little more enjoyable to watch, even though it's obvious that it's a model or obvious that it's fake. But let's talk about the general setup of the movie. What's the plot? How does it begin? What kicks off all the action? All the many incredible action sequences for this movie.
It's so smooth.
Tasty. Good stuff. Good stuff. That's what he says. He just digs his finger into some stuff at an oil refinery. Why there? I don't know. But it's there, and he thinks that he should stick it in his mouth, so he does.
So to anybody that is confused by what he just said, literally in the first minute of the movie consists of a man walking up to a white puddle, sticking his finger in it. I have the quote here. What the hell is it? So smooth. Puts it in his mouth and says, tastes good. And then he comments about how he could sell it. Is that about right?
That's close, yeah.
So the setup of the movie is The Stuff, in quotes. The actual stuff is white. It's probably marshmallow, right? That's what we...
Yeah.
Marshmallow sauce, paste.
It was probably everything from shaving cream to actually eating shaving cream.
Oh, we'll get into that.
To foam, like suds foam, to marshmallow paste. I'm sure that they had several recipes for this stuff.
And yogurt as well.
Yeah.
So the stuff in the movie, the stuff comes out of the ground. A businessman immediately sells it without testing it, and it's not protected by the FDA. There's actually the FDA's behind letting it be marketable. And without the testing, they don't know of its incredible man-controlling and eating effects. So how would you guys describe this movie?
I punched a hole in that sucker.
How would you guys describe the movie? I'd say it's like a wild ride. It goes from location to location to location.
Oh
Every location is brand new, and there's often no description of why they're there or what they're doing.
Yeah. I'm going to start with the guy that's traveling all over the place. The guy that kicks us off is this dweeb And how does he? What's his quote? How does he describe himself in the movie?
His name is Mo because he always wants Mo. It's Mo money, Mo stuff. He says it several times, and
it gets
really
old the first time he says it.
Yes, it's a very corny
anyway.
joke.
By the way, what is his entrance into the movie? How does he make his first appearance?
He's on a yacht.
Well, he rides a boat into the yacht because he's been hired.
Oh yeah, that's
By
right.
those people.
And he's got this dumb look on his face. He's like smiling. Anyways,
the company had acquired the chocolate chip Charlie. And
that's
so,
right.
Yeah, and so they wanted him to come. They hired him. He was the best at what he does, digging in and
Industrial sabotage? Is that what his job was?
Yeah.
That's what he told them. But he keeps telling people different things about what he does and what he did and all that.
I've never seen a main character that was such a dweeb in all my life, to be honest.
Oh yeah, he talks like he's Mr. Smooth, but in reality he's just kind of a dweeb.
Maybe Mr. Smooth from like Hicktown.
Yeah.
He always slurs his words and you can't really understand him. He's kind of southern a little bit.
He kind of talks like Bill Clinton, like real soft.
But Bill Clinton had charisma. This guy does not.
Well, in the movie he
I'm
has
Bill
charisma,
Clinton.
but it doesn't seem to translate to the actual real living audience.
It's like somebody with zero charisma playing a D&D character with a ton of charisma. Hey.
Yeah, well, okay. So his opening quote, Zach, do you remember his first line?
You're talking about like the sweaty.
Oh,
Yeah, so
Hello,
he goes
sweaty
and
palms.
he goes and meets all the corporate bigwigs that he's about to do business, and he comments on their palms
hello,
because he's so
palm.
charismatic.
I
So,
like sweaty palms.
hello, sweaty palms.
You don't have
palms,
sweaty palms.
And then he looks at his own palms and he's like, "Dry palms. I'm Mr. Dry Palms."
I don't think he even says that, does he?
I'm pretty sure he did, but we couldn't rewind it.
He
'cause,
said
like,
something
someone
about
said
dry
it.
palms. Yeah,
Maybe he mutters it.
yeah.
That's two sweaty palms.
So that's enter Mo,
We forgot
the
like
protagonist.
the way he describes himself is nobody's as dumb as I look. That's literally what he says.
And he says it again, doesn't he?
I don't know. I don't remember, but I was like, what?
And that's one of the first things he says. So like the first thing we're introduced to this character is the sweaty palms, his southern drawl, and then he's like, what does he say? No one is as dumb as I appear to be. I'm like, ladies and gentlemen, our protagonist.
But he also talks about how he had snuck into somebody's hotel room and snuck in a little mic, so he's a little devious too.
He's like listening in. The problem with this whole thing, the problem I have, is this guy seems to be the movie's trying to pull him off as he appears incompetent, but he's really super competent. But the actor is so incompetent at looking competent that he just cannot pull off the role. Who is the actor? Let's.
But he does add a flavor, I would say.
Yeah, he has a flavor.
Maybe like vanilla bean.
Instead of just vanilla.
It could be
Yeah.
sour cream.
Sour cream mixed in with vanilla.
Vanilla bean, yeah.
A little bit of mozzarella.
Who is the actor? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, let's look him up.
I want to look him up, find out what else he's been in.
So, by the way, I just think that line, nobody's as dumb as I appear to be, I can't help but wonder if that was written after he was hired. I wonder if he was a little salty about having to say that line on camera. But it looks like he is Michael Moriarty, is the actor's name. He was in Law and Order as Ben Stone.
Is that him? Oh, that is him.
Pale Rider, Q.
Q has a dragon.
I don't know of anything else here.
We should watch the 4400. Oh. What's his name?
Michael Moriarty. How could I
Wow, he's
forget that
bald
last name?
now.
So that's our protagonist.
Oh, man. It just gets worse from there. And then we introduce a kid.
Oh. He's probably the best actor known to man. He's got big blue eyes. He never shuts his mouth, ever. But he doesn't have many lines either, so he's just kind of on screen being a mouth breather.
Like, the first thing he does is he wakes up, he gets out, he's waving at something and swatting at something on his face.
He's having a nightmare.
And then he gets up and he's like, oh, so many bugs. And he shuts his window.
That's so stupid.
It's something like that. And then he wanders downstairs and opens up the fridge to, lo and behold, what do we see?
The stuff.
A cottage of milk.
A cottage of milk.
A cottage of milk.
So there's a container of the stuff that's been tipped over, and it made a mess, but the stuff is crawling back into the container.
I'm going home. After the stuff probably had already eaten all the eggs and all the other stuff inside the fridge.
Yeah, as we find out, it actually eats people. So it probably did eat eggs.
That was...
Thinking this
That's
is
how it
people,
got a
right?
taste. It all started with that one dollop. It ate eggs, and it's like, I could eat people now.
Oh my god. And so the kid sees it crawling back into the container, and his dad...
He's like a total jerk to his own son. He's like, how dare you be up in the middle of the night? What are you doing up, Dad?
I kind of want to play that scene.
Because it was really weird because it's like the dad comes in
Super aggressive.
and he's like, you scared me, son. And he's like
Scaring his son.
he's like all he did was open the fridge.
So I thought somebody was in the house. Yeah, it was me.
It's just me, Dad.
So after that one encounter with the stuff, what then does the child do at the supermarket?
He goes and he just whacks everything off the shelves, and no one can stop him either. He just slips out from underneath everyone's arms.
And grown-ups are trying to get to him.
And everyone's sticking their finger in the stuff that's on the floor.
Yeah, the stuff is smeared all over the floor. And here's the worst part is, so the stuff is supposed to be really addicting, right? And so he's knocked all the stuff off the counters and all the shelves, and so there's stuff literally all over the floor, like we said. The footage, the actors, they're just sticking their hands in it. It looks like they're playing in it. They're just smearing it around. Nobody's actually eating it in that scene. They're just playing in it. But it's supposed to look like this frenzy. Oh, this stuff! And everybody's, and they're just rubbing it.
If it's on the ground, it's
gotta
free.
have some.
And they're just rubbing it into the ground.
So we should probably talk about that. The stuff is super addictive. It's super tasty. It's low calorie, and it doesn't spot.
Doesn't leave stains.
Which
Thank
you'll
goodness.
have to
right.
watch the movie to find out what we're talking about
I
there.
hope this doesn't stain.
And it doesn't spot. Okay.
It was on a wood cabinet.
Yeah,
Of course it's not going to spot. You dumb.
So anyway, with the supermarket scene, the kid gets a broomstick and he's like knocking down. He's like running along a shelf and knocking them all down. My favorite part is there's a supermarket employee that dives in the way of the stuff to protect it. And then right behind him, there's a stack of them that the kid just immediately knocks down. And then they tackle him to the floor. And does anybody...
No. Hold it gets worse than there. You forgot.
Oh, yeah!
The freezer section. Not only is he just knocking the stuff down, he takes a broomstick that he's been knocking all the stuff down with, and he shatters the windows or the fridge doors that the stuff is behind. Now, I want to mention this real quick. You will see this stuff in almost every part of the store. It's just sitting out on displays, not refrigerated. It's in the milk section where it's refrigerated, and then it's in the freezer section.
I was just thinking that. I was
Yeah.
just starting to wonder.
Yeah, so...
And in the commercial, the lady was like, well, when I was a little girl, I used to love ice cream, but now I'm a big girl, and I prefer this stuff. So I'm thinking you're probably right. They probably have it as, like, dairy product and yogurt product and ice cream product, but it's never specifically mentioned as so many other things in this film.
Oh, so it's maybe not just sold as the stuff, but mixed in with other things.
Or
Well,
just
it
the
seems-
different temperatures. It's different consistency.
It does seem like they were selling 100% the stuff because of the end scene.
Yeah. I wonder if you
Yeah.
could pop this stuff into the microwave.
Probably not, as it turns out.
Yeah. All right, let's keep going.
Probably not a great idea.
Well, you know what? You might still get the same great flavor, but not the mind-altering effects.
So I
anyways.
want to see if anybody can remember this. So they tackle the kid to the ground, and the kid screams, "What?
It'll kill us all!
It'll kill you all!" What evidence does the kid have to support that claim?
It moved.
It
the
moved
fridge.
in the fridge.
Yeah, it moved. Don't you guys think that things that move are dangerous?
Become food. Yes, all things that move become food. So I thought that was pretty interesting how he caused all that damage, probably like $1,000 of damage because of his theory that it would kill us all. An unsubstantiated claim to that point.
Great writing.
And then he gets
Perfect.
grounded for it. Yeah, just a
And-
little slap on the wrist.
And that becomes a creepy scene as well. The dad turns out to be much worse than we originally thought. But let's go back to Mo. What's Mo doing during all of this?
Let's see.
Who knows?
What was he doing after that? So he was on the boat. Oh, he's going through...
The small town?
No, he's not in the small town yet. He's tracking stuff down. It's such a blur because he literally visits 50 locations within 5 minutes of footage.
With no real explanation.
He's
why
at
he's there.
the runway.
The what?
With
He's-
the girl.
He's at the runway, the fashion show.
That's right.
Yeah, he wants to talk to the girl, the lady who promoted this stuff, the lady who made the stuff popular.
So she came up with the name of the stuff. She helped design the logo, I think, and she's involved in most of the advertising. And there's this big runway scene where they're like, look happy that you're eating the stuff, but all the
Oh, and
models
they're-
are doing the stone-faced model thing where they're like,
And the models
I
are
hate
feeding
my existence.
The models are feeding each other the stuff. Like, now feed it to each other.
Awful.
Ugh. So bad. So he pulls... They're literally in the middle of filming, in the middle of shooting all this.
Yeah, now everyone take a break now. Take 5 minutes and... You know, I had to wait in line, so I know how you hate waiting in line. He's talking about stuff that, like, there's apparently some story that we don't know about that is never explained. And anyway, he gets that main marketer lady to join his crew to figure out what the stuff is. I think kind of without her knowledge.
Yeah. He told her that he was with oil, and he wanted her to market oil for him.
Like he was going to buy her company out and then make her in charge.
Yeah.
Like that was his motivation to get her involved.
And then she joins him, and then next thing we see is them walking down the street, and he's talking about some sort of crap that went over my head.
He talks a lot.
And it's just nonsense. It's supposed to sound like the smart corporate whatever, and he just... The second he opens his mouth, I just blank out half the time, unless it's something stupid like, I only look dumb when I'm smart. He doesn't say that, but he might as well.
Let's
He
talk about
looks like he's about to say that, or
The-
what his face says.
the first major highlight of the film and the entrance of one of the most important characters, the gas station attendant. Let's talk about his entrance into the small town. So he's going after the headquarters of the corporation that owns the stuff. They've all been disappearing or dying.
And
So
their
he's trying to
mail's
track
being-
them down in
yeah.
a small town.
Their mail's being sent to the small town, and then it's going from there to Georgia. So he enters this town, he goes into the gas station, and there's a guy behind the counter.
And he can't get any information out of him.
And then the guy goes in the back, barfs up a bunch of stuff that we didn't see.
That's a different scene.
Is it? Okay. I forget.
He runs into the forest. So another car
Oh, yeah.
pulls up. Another car pulls up. And Mo's like, oh, I'm being followed. And so Mo starts walking to the other car. And the gas station attendant
right.
runs into the forest and hides.
Out of nowhere. It's one of the best scenes in the entire movie. Because he gets this look of terror on his face and he's like, oh no, this guy's walking to that other car. And he literally just hightails it into the forest, dives in through the trees, and we never see him again.
That's not true. We see him in a very unexpected place.
Several times.
Yeah, you don't remember?
Oh, okay, I was thinking that was the other guy.
No, it's
The guy that barfed
station.
up the stuff. Okay, I'm getting the two mixed up. I apologize.
And he's wearing, like, overalls, and he's, like, this middle-aged man. He's, like, the least expectant person that you would see run around, like, doing dangerous stuff.
And I don't think he ever speaks another line. I think all his lines are done at this point. But anyway, so...
The rest of his lines are, ah!
Mel goes to the other car, and he gets tackled by none other than Chocolate Chip Charlie, who, as far as we can tell, it's never explicitly mentioned. But he owned the company, or he was one of the shareholders.
They do talk about him.
Just in the very
But
beginning.
nobody knows why he's famous. But everybody seems to know who Chocolate Chip Charlie is.
You don't know who Chocolate Chip Charlie is?
I know
I
who
do
Chocolate
now.
Chip Charlie is.
He's huge. Chocolate Chip Charlie.
I've always known who he is because I'm a cool boy. And that's how I do.
Yeah, me too.
So everybody in the movie knows who Chocolate Chip Charlie is. And apparently when the stuff was marketed, they kind of like snuck the company out from under him. So he's trying to accomplish the same thing as Mo. So they team up together and go to another place where someone else has been eating the stuff and they barf it up. And
This was the post office.
Yeah, the post
okay.
office. The guy, he walks, that's right, he stopped, you hear gurgling coming from his stomach. And he's like, excuse me, and he gets this wide-eyed, like, crazy look. And he goes into the back room, and they hear him going, and he's in the, I assumed it was like a restroom, but it's like a back closet with some stairs leading up.
yeah, and it's so bad because you can't tell where they're looking and where he's laying when they go back there. I probably fast-forwarded too much.
Yeah, well, and he starts, like, barfing up the stuff, and you're like, oh, he's dead. And then they go back there, and his corpse is laying on the ground.
But not on the ground, like on the wall.
Yeah,
Because they were looking up.
Yeah.
I thought he was on the upper floor.
Yeah, I don't know where
Yeah,
it was. It was a
doesn't
weird
make any
scene. And then later on, they leave, and then you see the stuff crawling back into his mouth, and then he's wiping the white stuff off his mouth.
So anyway, from that point on, the stuff is after him. So
we forgot to mention, it's after that scene. Oh, is that what you're talking about?
the truck.
No. The four guys that are running towards...
Oh my gosh! How can I
It's
forget my
dark
favorite
outside.
part?
Yeah. The four... Out of nowhere, Chocolate Chip Charlie and Mo are walking down the street, and they're like, oh, looks like... this wasn't the line, but looks like we got company. And there's four guys just running at them with crowbars. It's like, wait, what? So first, he's gone to this fashion show, found out that the letters were being rerouted to this other place. He goes there, and everybody's super suspicious already. And already he's being attacked. It's like, wait, how? It just built up so fast. It was like out of nowhere. Everything in this movie feels like it's out of nowhere.
So, how do they escape those four men? I'm so glad you asked me. Because Chocolate Chip Charlie is literally punching people's faces off. And then this stuff is like spewing out.
What's his line? That line that
I punched a hole in that sucker.
and it's like it's spewing instead of blood. It's all this white creamy marshmallow goo. It's the stuff that's coming out.
So from that point on, the stuff is out to get them. Anyone that's consumed the stuff is part of the hive mind of the stuff. This isn't explicitly mentioned.
Is that how it works? Maybe.
It has to, because everybody that sees them is like against them from that point on.
That is true.
Which is weird though, because the
how
film
does the
sets
stuff know that guy's?
It's a hive mind. That's what I'm saying.
But what? This stuff had no point, no reason to see him as an enemy.
Yeah, because he's trying to shut it down.
I feel like the viewer doesn't even know.
Wait a second, you're right. Because he's not trying to shut it down. He's just trying to figure out what it's made out of so he can sell the secret to another company.
Yeah. He's just tracking down people in the corporation. Oh, we forgot to mention, he goes to that old guy's house with the dog.
Oh my gosh, there's so much. Because he also goes to the corporation's marketer or financial guy
he goes,
who doesn't need it, and he takes his money.
He goes to the dog guy after the fight.
There's too many places. It's just like constantly switching it.
And he almost gets run over on the street, too.
Yeah, that was after the dog guy. So, he fights the 4 people with Chocolate Chip Charlie. Then he goes to the dog guy, and the dog's acting weird, and the guy's afraid of the dog. And then we see he gets some information. He gets some files or something. And so he leaves that location. And then he goes to New York.
It's like a 3-hour movie crammed into an hour and a half. Is what's happening.
And then he goes to New York, and we see a vendor. A stuff vendor, like a hot dog vendor, but it's the stuff.
She sees him from a distance.
She sees him from a distance, pulls out a military-grade walkie-talkie, and goes, "He's here."
That's him.
That's him, something like that. And a truck labeled "The Stuff" comes screaming around the corner.
In broad daylight.
In the middle of New York traffic. And tries to run him over. Does a crap job.
Like,
he barely
even nudges him.
He's like, "Whoa, what was that?"
And drives away, and that's it.
Never comes back.
It's never a thing. It's never talked about. He never says, "Oh, a driver tried to hit me."
No,
the stuff is after me.
It's just a scene. It feels like a deleted scene that was left in the movie.
I think what's happening here is the corporation controls the hive mind of the stuff. Because by that point, the only thing that wants Mo dead is the actual corporation. But again, that's never, explicitly mentioned.
Here's the problem. I'm just going to give this little spoiler. The head of the corporation has never eaten this stuff.
Well, why would he?
So how does the hive mind work if he's not infected by it?
It just shows how bad the writing is for this movie. Nothing was thought about. Everything just sort of happens. They have the detective thing, which kind of pans out, but it's so fast, and he's moving from place to place that it's hard to follow what's even happening.
So they get on a plane.
I know exactly what you're going to say.
They get on a plane, and they fly. I don't even know where.
Wait. Mo picks up the kid.
Oh, right! I totally forgot!
Mo sees that a kid
in a newspaper
trashed a grocery store in a newspaper. An article was written about it, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go pick up that kid." And so he does.
He's like, "I gotta see this kid." And so the kid's, oh man, there's just so much. Okay, so I'm just gonna do this real quick. So the kid's in his house, and he's grounded, and his dad's like, "You gotta eat this stuff. You have to eat it." And he's like, "Okay, I'll eat it." And he goes up to his room, dumps the stuff down the toilet. It spurts and stuff, and it comes out of the toilet. And it looks at him, and then he flushes it. And then he fills the the container of the stuff with shaving cream, and he walks down eating shaving cream with a spoon, showing the dedication of this kid willing to eat shaving cream over the stuff. And he gets into the kitchen, and his dad's like, "Oh, you finally joined us in our evil stuff cult. Yes."
Anyway, he goes to puke the shaving cream out, and his family's like, "Something's wrong. Get him!"
And his dad tastes the shaving cream and is like, "No, get it." Yeah. And so his brother drags him in, and there's a fight, and they try to force it down his throat, and he gets out again, runs outside, and lo and behold, who is there in a car? Mo. "Get in, kid. Yeah, I saw it move too."
And so they're best friends from that point on, and probably he's like a foster dad to the kid. All because of that.
I mean, sort of.
Yeah,
he's a terrible
in the end,
foster dad.
He's awful. We definitely need to talk about
who's
scene.
worse, him or his actual dad? Him. He's way worse. So they get on a plane and they fly across the whatever. The kid stays in the plane. It's in the middle of the night, and he's already booked a hotel. Mo and this girl from the fashion industry, they're in a hotel, and the kid's still in the plane.
As far as they know.
As far as we know.
Which has had another attack from the stuff, by the way.
So the plane gets filled with the stuff, and who is there? The gas station guy from the previous town that they flew from, basically. And then he shows up again, doesn't he, somewhere else?
Yeah, so they...
this gas station guy keeps popping up out of nowhere.
We have to talk about the motel scene.
Yeah. Oh, that scene is... This is actually one of the coolest scenes in the movie, where the motel that they're staying in, whoever set this up has filled their mattress and their pillows with the stuff. It sounds ridiculous.
Because it is.
It is. It's stupid. The stuff jumps out and it hits his face and it's stuck and she lights it on fire. Next thing you know...
She lights his face on fire.
Wait. Is it that gas station guy that comes bursting into the room?
No. He's the motel attendant.
Okay, motel attendant just bursts in the room and starts attacking them out of nowhere.
And he's saying, let us alone!
Leave us alone!
I don't know what he's talking about, but he attacks them alongside the stuff, and then he gets attacked by the stuff.
The stuff literally pushes him up onto the wall and up into the upper corner of the wall. So this is liquid that we're watching while the two were standing there watch this. Now, we all knew what was going on.
So there's Zach, do you want to explain it? Did you figure that effect out?
No. I mean, I can't think of how they did this because it, kind of like Inception where the room rotating and that kind of thing. It was that effect, but on one side of the room, Mo and the girl are just standing there normally. And on the other side of the room, you have this guy being pushed up by the stuff.
And it looks like it's gravity, right? But they're just standing there. And they're not cut in. They're lit. It looks like everybody's in that room.
They literally are.
Yeah.
So what they did is they put stilts on the floor and strapped their entire body to it so that they would stay appearing to stand straight upright.
What about her hair?
Around...
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Maybe they could
her
have used
hair
a
was
pulley
back.
or something in this stuff.
But I noticed that they were standing, rocking back and forth. So I'm guessing they had poles or something attached to them
weird.
to make it appear like they were still standing on the ground. And I noticed as the angles changed from the stuff pushing itself to the guy in the corner that they would be, rocking to a different amount. So I'm pretty sure that's what they did.
And this whole time...
And then they light it on fire.
Yeah, that's right. I shouldn't say the whole time, but they light it on fire. And so it's moving up and down this wall, and that guy's literally stuck in the corner. It was a really cool scene.
Really well done. Compared to all the other effects in this movie, that's by far the best scene.
The best.
But it's not the one that gets the most attention, unfortunately.
Which is really sad because it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Especially for the time and I'm looking up the budget right now, but
that'll be fun. I didn't even think about that. We should do that in the future.
It didn't seem like it was a big enough movie, a big enough director or name or anything to get a lot of attention or money beforehand. So it's weird that they would have all these funds to be able to do all these kind of effects. 'Cause there's a lot of pyrotechnics and other stuff that they do, which
they blow up that whole facility.
Yeah, they have rock slides and stuff.
Rock slides, explosions.
Maybe that stuff was pre-planned. I don't know.
So I want to go ahead and look up the budget because I'm interested in that. But basically, the way the movie wraps up is they get the military involved. Because Mo is able to convince
this
him.
Racist piece of crap. Military guy. He's talking to Chocolate Chip Charlie and he's like, I don't want him in my... He owns a radio station for some weird reason?
Well, that's in the future. So he gets the military guys to, first of all, attack a man on site and kill him. The guard of the stuff factory. And then they go and blow up the whole factory. He's working for the military. He's just working on his own accord with his own resources.
And here's the thing. Here's the weird thing. This Mo guy, once again, rolled a D20 on convincing the military that the stuff was evil. And the military just storms his base, shooting everybody in sight. All from the evidence of Moe's words.
Yep.
It was fantastic.
So
He's
they
like,
blow up the factory, but it's not over yet because the stuff is in every household. The military guy just happens to own 2 radio stations. They go to one. Chocolate Chip Charlie attacks the lady and the kid, and the stuff within him explodes out of him and tries to attack him. And then they light it on fire.
Some of the best screaming in Hollywood coming from the female and the kid actor.
The kid was the best.
Yeah.
Oh.
How did the kids sound? Everyone in unison.
Seriously, watch this movie for that scene and that scene alone. You could find it on YouTube. Look up the stuff Chocolate Chip Charlie.
Radio.
Yeah,
It's
just look up
the
the
radio
stuff
room.
Chocolate Chip Charlie scene, and that scene will probably pop up. It's fantabulous.
Not the best, the best practical effects.
Yeah.
The hotel room is by far the best in the
Yeah.
movie. But anyway, they ended up doing a radio broadcast that immediately solved the problem for everybody. And
everybody burned everything, and the gas station guy came out again, and they killed him. No, that's not true.
no, he died at some point.
He got run over by.
Oh,
truck.
that's
And he,
right.
His head imploded. There's so much to this movie.
It is okay. If you're listening to this, you have to see it. It's just so good.
It's so hard to explain because there's literally 50 different locations and like 3 things happening at once. But in the end, the lady she's talking straight to the camera about what happened. And everyone burns it. And then we go back to the corporate office of the people that marketed and owned the stuff. And Mo...
Oh no.
let me.
This is
The protagonist has his newly orphaned child friend feed the businessmen to death. They force them to eat the stuff, implying that they're going to die like everybody else did from eating that much of the stuff. They eat a whole crate of it.
And then we see them, the film, they leave, and we see the 2 businessmen still consuming the stuff because it's that addictive. I give this man the Father of the Year award.
For sure. Yeah, he turned his son into a serial killer, so that's great. And then the very end of the movie is the stuff's on the black market and being sold, and the guy puts his finger in it and tastes it and then nods like, yeah, this is the stuff. So how about that?
Watch this movie. Don't expect to follow the plot too well, at least for my ADH-addled brain. It's really hard to follow.
Well, we've seen it before, me and Blake, and we didn't really understand what was happening then, and then when we watched it the second time, more things slid into place.
I think you have to watch this a minimum of 6 times.
That's probably why it had a cult following, is because, well, that and the message, there's an obvious message throughout the movie. But you have to watch it multiple times in order to understand it. So, what would you guys say is the purpose of the film?
I would say, yeah, like Blake said, consumerism. It's kind of a statement on consumerism and how that's sort of bad. I don't know the history of all that, but I feel like the 80s is when brands and logos and all that really became big. And so I feel like this movie came out as a statement against that.
It's like a supermarket sweep. All the big names in the grocery store. That was in the 90s, but it's the same kind of thing.
Yeah. And they even mention several brands. I remember them mentioning Coca-Cola. They compared the stuff to Coca-Cola, and they're like, it's like Coca-Cola, but it's healthier, kind of thing.
Yeah, that's another key message that I put in the movie, is they talk a lot about the FDA. The guy with the dog is from the FDA, and he snuck this stuff through because he personally loves it. And also they talk about an FDA rule where you don't have to look at every single ingredient. You can have secret ingredients that not even the FDA can look at. So it's just the message is how bad the FDA is for allowing the stuff to be sold on the market without testing it.
I would say that. Everything that everyone said. And also, don't walk around the house at 4 a.m.
Getting into the fridge. Your dad might come down and just freak out.
Whack you
What are
with
you
something.
doing here?
This is my home. Get out.
I live here too, Dad.
No.
There's also the military guy. That's like a key message of anti-military.
Oh
like
my
the
gosh.
guy, the character is so bad that like you can't help but to just
the
hate him.
worst kind of. I don't want to get into
Militant.
politics. Yeah.
But
He's like, I could throw you off this tower right now.
you'd land about there.
Oh, I want to mention this. So he storms that factory, right? And there's bodies everywhere. At just the mere word of this guy. And he enters a room where there are already bodies literally littering the ground. And it's like, oh, you stole me the chance to kill you myself, you commies. And there's just bodies everywhere. And this has got to be one of the best extra scenes anybody has ever been in. Everybody's laying on the ground with their tongue sticking out.
Like a big fake tongue, eyes all wide.
It was fantastic. That was a great scene.
So here's I want your guys' opinion. Given all the purposes of the film that we talked about, the consumerism, I'm gonna add corporatism because there's a whole bunch of marketing done and like these fat cats that are behind the scenes with the stuff. Given all those different messages that the movie tries to put forward, do you think it realized its purpose? Do you think the film realized its purpose in sending that message?
No, it was too convoluted. It's way too chaotic.
I'd agree. It's the only way to really catch on to everything that's going on is to sit and watch it by yourself so you can hear everything. If you watch it with other people, it's...
Everybody's going to be laughing at it. If I feel bad for the guy that would have to study this to try to figure out what the message is.
I mean, to me, after the first viewing, it seemed pretty obvious what the message was, but it's just so cheesy that you can't help but not take it seriously.
Yeah. I mean, I would say the writer and director, like, they knew what they were saying, sort of. Because, I mean, they made specific examples to, like, Coca-Cola. And there's, like, a McDonald's in there that almost blew up because it was right next to that building that did blow up.
Yeah, between the KFC and the McDonald's, they just freaking blew up a whole stuffed building.
But I think it's too campy, too, like, just silly and wacky and fun for audiences to really pick up on those deeper messages. So it's like, they tried and probably failed. Especially since not a whole lot of people actually saw it and enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. So the stuff has a rating on IMDb, a 5.9 rating. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has...
Out of 10?
6.69%.
Oh,
Nice.
The audience score had 45?
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Can we read their...
Nah, let's not.
Okay.
I'd rather get into our scores.
Yeah.
By the way, did you figure out what the budget was?
The budget was $1.7 million.
Whoa.
Back
How much
in the
profit did they
80s.
make?
I haven't found the profit yet.
I can look up the
I'm trying to see.
1.7, 1985.
Oh, such a good movie, though. Seriously, like...
So
It's-
$4 million in 1985 is equivalent to $9 million. So it's just over double. So it'd be about $3 million in today's budget. What's a budget like that like?
That's a budget of $3 million. That's pretty common for horror movies.
I'd probably say it's 3.7 or something like that.
Yeah. And you can get away with a lot of stuff with that kind of money as long as your cast isn't all that big and expensive. Which for this movie, I think they weren't big enough to demand a whole lot of money. They probably each got, I don't know, 50 to 100K, if that. But yeah, I mean, because comparing it to like Halloween or Friday the 13th, other horror movies in the 70s, those were on a budget of like $500K kind of thing.
Dang.
And they made bank off those too.
Yeah, they made a lot of money from those. And that's why horrors are popular, because they can make a lot of money, because they can film for so cheap. Because they don't usually need big stars. They just get, little stars
Man.
to do it.
Interesting. All right. Our total cumulative ratings. We gave it a so bad it's good. For writing, we gave it a D-. Total production is a C-. Uniqueness is a C. And the dopamine rating, which is just how much we enjoyed it, regardless of the quality and everything else, got a B. The biggest difference between everybody's rating was dopamine. You guys want to talk about why you awarded it what you did? I gave it an A because I just laughed through the entire thing. I thought it was super fun.
Oh, it's just such a stupid movie. It's great. The first time Wes and I saw this, we were laughing until we were crying, rewinding scenes over and over again.
I punched a hole in that sucker.
and like, we didn't understand a lot of it. Like, when that scene in particular, we punched a hole in the sucker, Wes and I thought that
they had super strength.
Yeah.
We didn't realize, because they never explained that the stuff like makes your body fragile until the very last scene.
Yeah, where if it exits your body,
My rating was C. It was funny. I liked it. I liked watching it. But I felt like it wasn't as funny as I thought it was going to be, as horrifying, I suppose, as I thought it was going to be. But I definitely liked certain things about it. The practical effects was the motel scene was very good, definitely. But I could even almost, with this conversation, I could even bump it up to a C+, but we're not really doing that, so
I think
unofficial.
whatever you actually feel is fine. Like, I think awarding it a C is totally fine because this is your personal rating,
Yeah.
And it's not a scary movie. It's it's definitely, you have to be in the right mindset where you're not going to take it too seriously and you're just going to laugh through whatever they throw at you to truly enjoy it.
There's not even any jump scares.
No, I mean, was that common for the 80s?
jump scares. Well, no, the Halloween jump scares all over the place.
Really?
Oh yeah.
There are a lot of slower moving things in this movie. Not everything, but the stuff usually just flows smoothly and slower.
A little bit more intense, because it's like people being stuck in a place where the stuff is like coming at them, kind of thing.
You know what? Maybe I gave it too low of a writing credit, which I'm not going to change it because the writing wasn't great. But yeah, now that you bring it up, part of the scariness that, like, if you took the movie seriously and it was scary, part of the scariness in the writing, at least, was that you don't know what the stuff does, that all these things are happening with no explanation. So, like, you don't know that it makes your body fragile, that it's a hive mind for some reason. It knows everybody and everything. There's even a scene where the kid encounters a big pile of the stuff and he says, "You're in my head!" So apparently it has telepathic abilities. It turns your blood into stuff, it dissolves tissues, it explodes heads. So it's just kind of chaotic. And I guess with that writing, they could have made it a little more scary, but just the execution was not there. I'm still giving it an F for writing. Or I gave it a D. Yeah, I gave it a D for writing.
I gave it an F.
I gave it an F too for writing.
Zach, what'd you give it for dopamine?
I gave it a B. I enjoyed it. It's not like the best, worst movie I've seen. But it's still like fun. Like,
not the so baddest, it's goodest movie.
Yeah. Like I still had fun with it. The writing wasn't the worst. Like, I think I gave it the highest score out of all of us on the writing. Not that it's great or even good by any stretch of the imagination, but it wasn't terrible. Though, I don't know. There's some bad stuff. The kid just doesn't have anything to do.
He's got no personality either. His personality is being a child.
Yes.
Like, he doesn't... well, I guess an unruly child that
What does he
trashes
say?
supermarkets.
What does he say at the end? It's like, this kid's seen some stuff. Yeah, I've seen some stuff. Something like that.
Is that really a line?
I think I could
He
be-
says something pretty cheesy at the end where it's like he lost his family because of the stuff. You know, like they were consumed by it, which is why they chased him out of the house. And, like that's his dramatic finale is he's a cold-blooded killer now, but...
Oh, now I remember. Yeah, he's like, I've seen some stuff.
I'm sorry, I just gotta mention
Go
this.
ahead.
This is the very last scene. They're gonna kill these executives that were in charge of the stuff they began with. He's like, "Oh, what you gonna do? You can't blah blah blah." And the guy pulls out a gun and he starts pointing it at the two executives. And then he calls the boy in, and so this boy is like helping this man kill these people while he's waving a gun in their face. He's like, "Eat it, eat it." It's so bad. Yeah.
So that's our summary of the 1985 film The Stuff. We watched it on YouTube. You can rent it on YouTube. It looks like, according to JustWatch.com, you can also stream it on Screambox, Amazon Channel, Hoopla, Amazon Prime Video, or for free with ads on Tubi TV. I don't know how relevant any of that stuff is, but there's that. And what do y'all think?
This is fun.
So in the future, we definitely want to tackle more movies, especially with practical effects. That's kind of, I don't know, that keeps us interested in something here. Or we might branch out to horror movies as well. It just depends.
I would like to see if this is good to mention what movies we want to see or do.
Yeah, definitely.
I want to do Dead Alive, not Dead or Alive, Dead Alive.
Remind me again who directed that movie?
Oh, Peter Jackson.
Yeah.
I think that should be our next movie, to be honest.
I'm personally looking forward to... We will do this because I have to see the movie one way or another, and I might as well podcast about it. One of the best-known practical effects movies, The Thing.
Oh, yeah.
I
We
definitely
have to do The Thing.
am going to force you guys to do that with me. What about you guys? Any movies you have on your radar?
They Live.
They Live. Did we see a preview of that?
No,
Yeah.
but did we?
Oh, no, maybe not.
I know what it is.
Is it horror practical effects?
It's horror, isn't it? Does that
It's
practical
like a
effects?
sci-fi horror-ish.
Does that practical effects in it?
I don't know if it does.
There's the glasses.
Yeah.
1988 science fiction horror film written and directed by John Carpenter.
Oh,
And he's the one who directed Halloween, the original.
Right.
yeah, that's right.
Zach, what about you?
Oh, we were talking about it last night. It was one of the ones we were talking about.
Oh, the frequency or the
No, that's
Scanners.
Yeah.
It wasn't Scanners. It was another one. Maybe it was Dead Alive.
There's Dead Alive, and then there was
Videodrome.
Videodrome. Yeah.
That one seemed pretty interesting. But I'd also be down with really all the other ones.
Videodrome's a trip. That one's probably, at least for me, that's probably gonna be so bad it's bad.
Well, that's okay.
But it's
We have to have every type of rating, right? So good it's
Yeah.
good, so bad it's good, so good it's bad, so
Bad it's
bad it's bad.
Yeah.
So it's meh.
Yeah, there will be a meh rating if we don't reach a consensus, which I'm hoping that happens because we'll have a lot more to talk about.
Yeah.
We'll just be throwing crap at each other. It was good, it was bad.
I can't wait.
Well, thanks for joining us. This was a great first try at movie ratings. Oh. And
Can I just mention Mo's haircut? It was.
I think we should end there.
It's the worst.
Let's rate Mo's haircut. I give it a so bad it's bad.
It's horrible.
It's quite fuzzy.
It's
so bad I don't even remember.
It kind of gave away some parts when they were filming indoors for an outdoor scene because they were all like just sticking in the air. But it looks like some kind of bowl cut before bowl cuts were a thing. Yeah, it was bad. Mo was just bad the whole time. Did anybody like Mo?
I wanted Mo character development for him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good point. He was like the same person the entire movie. Maybe in the end he was a little more ominous, letting a child kill some corporate fat cats. But besides that, he was the same personality the whole time, and he talks like Bill Clinton. And I'm adamant that is the closest.
Bill Clinton has way more charisma than he had, though.
Yeah, but he talks like him.
Yeah.
Like his voice.
He
talks soft, and he's like, hey,
but Bill Clinton's
we're going to go track down the mail.
Bill Clinton's got a little bit of something to his drawl. He talks like, I just want to let you people know. Hi, I'm Bill Clinton. Welcome. You know why I come in?
Thanks for joining us today. Sorry about the clapping. Catch you next time.
Bye. Bye.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Goodbye.
Bye.